If you're a number 8 or a number 10, I strongly recommend that you lock into this video. And if you're not, then I recommend that you send it to a fullback and to a winger, because those three are heavily involved in this video right here. And if you don't play in any of those positions, still watch this video, because this will definitely, absolutely, 100% elevate your game IQ. Now, there's only one thing left to do, and that is, and also if you're a football coach, lock into this video, and I really hope that you can implement these concepts into your team, into your training environment. Now, let's get straight into it. So as a number 8 or number 10, you have to be willing to make these underlapping runs in that half space. And what's important is the detail. It's not you making a vertical run, because sometimes you can be tracked by the centre back. What you must do, and you're going to see this in the video that I'm about to show you right now, is curve your run. So then you can receive the ball here and then create these cutback or crossing opportunities. When you curve your run right behind the fullback, the centre back can't mark you. The distance is too much. But if you make that vertical run, the centre back can potentially track you and prevent you from crossing the ball in. Even they could tackle you here and then start a counter-attacking opportunity. So what you must do, and these are the details that separate you from being good and excellent. It's curving your run so you're very close to the fullback. The fullback is facing the ball, so then that's where you can receive the ball in this type of space, knowing that the centre-back can't really step that far wide because they're leaving gaps in between them and the other centre-back. So they will stay around here, and now you have this opportunity to cross the ball in, back post, cut it back, just create chaos in that final third area. And now you're going to see the video explaining this. So here we can see Kevin De Bruyne willing to make that run in behind the fullback because the fullback is facing the ball. Therefore, if you're the attacking midfielder and you're making that run in behind, you're able to receive the ball in that amount of space and create goal-scoring opportunities. David Silva, just notice he's exploiting that big amount of space in behind. You have to be willing to make these runs. You have to be dynamic. And also, there's another detail. Notice David Silva. He's approaching the fullback and then he curves his run just to open up more space where he can receive the ball in that half space. And also, it's very difficult to track a player that is running towards the opposition and then curves his run in the last moment. So that is another key detail that you must add to your game. Just once again, it comes down to being willing. And if you notice here, he's once again approaching the fullback and then curving his run. He's seen that space and he's already made up his mind that he's going to create chaos in the penalty box. Thomas Müller doing it as well. Here, just notice how close, this is very interesting. Just notice how close Gundogan is to Grealish. Just look at that. The distances are very close. Look how close he's going to the fullback. And that makes it very difficult to track him. And look at the space between the centre-back and the fullback. There's so much space. The moment you start curving your run in the direction of the fullback to receive it in that space. So those were the details with the number 8 and the number 10 making those half space runs in the final third to create those crossing and cutback opportunities. Now we're going to look at the build-up phase, where we're looking at the role of the number 8, the role of the fullback and the role of the winger, and how they can work together to create openings to thread through balls into the striker and final third entries. So when the centre-back has the ball, when the fullback goes very high, this opposition winger would begin to track back. This creates a square between the opposition centre-back, left winger and left-sided centre midfielder. The winger drops into that pocket of space right there to try and be the option to receive the ball in between the lines on the back foot, on the half turn to play forward. And then that space right there is filled up by that number 10 or the number 8, dropping into that space, not dropping all the way here, just dropping at an angle to receive the ball, and they all have the space because the winger has dropped back because of the fullback. And now, if they draw the number 6 towards them, they have the ability to potentially find the number 9 who can set the 8, who can support underneath, or the 10 can just drive with the ball. We know the characteristics of number 8, of number 10s, where they are comfortable and able to drive with the ball and commit players to play to the far side. So for example, the 10 could drive inside, and by the way, you're going to see an example of this coming up very shortly. The 10 will drive in here, drag players towards him, and then play out to the far side centre-back. As this centre-back steps with the ball, guess what? That rotation happens as well, because now the opposition would be ready to shuffle across, but there is space to utilise on the far side. So the 8 could be ready to drop, because as that fullback goes very high, this winger would begin to track back. Our winger would tuck into that pocket of space, and this 8 would drop in. As that happens, there is an opportunity to play the winger on the back foot to receive and play forward. And if it's not on to play the winger straight away, you can just play the number 8 who can dictate by playing passes into the fullback, receiving it back, then that pass onto the winger will be on, because as the 8 receives the ball, if the 11 presses the 8, there's a pass out to the fullback will have pressure, the 11 will begin to drop, then the 8 receives the ball again. When the 11 presses this time, because the fullback has pressed the number 3 here, there's the space for the 7 to receive the ball. But as we said, it can be directly on where the centre back directly plays it into the winger, and now here we have an opportunity to slide in the number 9 into that space, and then hopefully for a goal, and then a collective celebration. I repeat, a collective celebration where everyone celebrates together as a team, because that is a team goal right there. So notice the rotation between the fullback, winger and centre midfielder, and there's a reason why it's happening. It's to allow the centre midfielder to dictate from deep areas. As the ball goes back to the near side centre back, the right-sided 8 drops, has space to drive in, utilises that space, utilises his ability, and then notice the far side rotation where the winger drifts in and the fullback is out wide, and that allows the winger to receive the ball in that pocket of space on the back foot and drive aggressively and play in the number 9 in behind. And notice the winger fullback midfield rotation right there.
The right centre back gives the ball to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper comes forward with it. The opposition still don't know which way the goalkeeper is going. Then the goalkeeper comes back to the right centre back. That's the trigger for this to happen. The number 8 can go higher, the winger can drop in. You have a sort of diamond and you have your 2 number 6s, because the right back is now essentially number 6. If the centre back can come forward one more step, which is why ball playing comfortable centre backs are so important in the modern game, if they can come forward just a bit, that allows easier ball progression than if the centre back is looking for a pass straight away. If the centre back stands there and asks for options, the opposition are pressing higher up the pitch. The moment the centre-back looks confident, comes forward, just like Gabriel, Saliba at Arsenal, they just come forward with the ball, no problem. Then this right-back can go even higher, which opens up space for the number 8 to drop in on his back foot. As soon as he gets it, this winger is going there. That creates more space for the number 8. The right-back can be adventurous and end up there, as high as possible, which opens up space, for example, for the number 9 to drop in, play a little set, a combination to switch.
And here is another variation between the fullback, number 8 and winger, another type of rotation where the fullback stays deep as he receives the ball with the winger pressing, the number 8 and the 7 rotate. So the 8 spins into that space, dragging this 8 with them, and the winger drops into that pocket of space right there. And as that happens, you're going to ask the question to the fullback, are you going to follow me? Because if you are, then the number 9, the number 8 can make these runs in behind. What will usually happen is the fullback will hesitate and say, no, I want to stay in my position because that's where I am most comfortable. And in this scenario, the fullback will play the number 8 who has pressure, and we're trusting the number 8's technical ability in tight spaces to deal with the pressure. This 11 will start to press the ball and the fullback just drops off to receive the ball again, and this is where the winger can receive the ball on the back foot, on the half turn, and drive forward or switch to the far side where there's a 2v1 with the number 10 making this underlapping run right there. And that starts from the winger, the number 8 and the fullback being on the same page. And here we can see the fullback receive the ball. Notice that midfielder going very wide to open up space in the middle. The fullback drops off, and then look how much space the other centre midfielder has to turn and switch the play onto the far side where there's a 1v1 situation. And another variation is the fullback staying deep, receiving the ball, the winger pressing the fullback, and what happens in the duration of that is one number 8 going very wide because the winger would be pinning the opposition fullback, so there is space here for the 8 to receive the ball. And if the opposition 8 tracks this player here, then there's this much space for the 10 to receive the ball or for the 6 to receive the ball in acres of space. As the 8 receives the ball under pressure, the fullback pretends to go forward, then drops back, buying himself a little bit of time. As the fullback receives the ball, as we said, with that amount of space, there is an opportunity to play this number 10 or the number 6. It could be either one of them who can turn and then switch to the far side where there is a 1v1 opportunity. And for me personally, I prefer the 6 to receive the ball here because if the 10 can stay very wide on the far side, there is the opportunity to switch the play and then create that underlapping opportunity as we just discussed in the video earlier on, where the 10 makes this underlap, receives the ball in that space, and then there's a cutback crossing opportunity for the winger, for the opposite 8 who would be hitting the box as a late runner, and the number 9 as well. So using the number 6, using the number 8 and the fullback to switch to the far side where there is a 2v1 opportunity.
Another thing that can happen, which is why your number 8 needs to be very dynamic and mobile, is this number 8 moves away, dragging the opposition number 6 with him. And who takes up this space? It's the winger. The winger comes in If this right back follows, that's fine. Look at the acres of space this left back has. It goes into there and it goes into there, and the left back has to carry the ball forward as much as possible. As the left back carries the ball forward, we've pushed up the pitch like this, and now we're at a stage where we are in settled play, which means our centre backs go higher up the pitch, the opposition probably retreat in a mid-low block, something like this. They go in this sort of shape, and that's where we start to play. This is our winger. The winger could end up giving it back to our centre back, the winger could go higher, our left back could come back, and our number 8 goes there. And then we're looking at different types of rotation, which could mean our centre back gets the ball there. And then as the centre back comes with the ball, can our fullback invert, dragging someone out, our winger drops in. When our winger drops in, if our fullback continues the run, look at the space our number 8 can have. Can we get the number 8 on the ball to play a little combination like this to free up our number 6? As our number 6 gets the ball, obviously they would have shifted to this side. Our overload is here. Then we're looking at something like this. Or the number 6 stays patient, as the number 6 should do, plays it to the other side. They would have shifted across again. And the more you shift the opposition across, the more you leave spaces in areas which are very, very threatening to the opposition. You go there, they come across, then you come back, then you go there, then you go there. And eventually there will be a situation where you have an overload on one side and it's all about quickly finding the free man. As managers like Xavi, Pep Guardiola, Arteta, Roberto De Zerbi, they've all spoken about the concept of the free man. And that happens from always moving the ball from side to side, forward and backwards, until one player from the opposition has cheated with a few yards of not tracking their man, and that's the free man. So for example, if the number 6 drops in here to get the ball with pressure from the striker, if we get the moving where the number 8 makes a selfless run in behind, creating space for the winger to get the ball, some sort of confusion would have happened where if the fullback has followed the number 8, there's space for the winger. If the opposition number 6 has followed the number 8, there's still space for the winger. Then that's where you exploit the flanks with the right back. If you can get the ball like this on the back foot, there's pressure, you play the ball into space, right back gets it, you hit the box, and you create a goal scoring opportunity very, very simply.